2. Well, it's an all-Seattle rivalry this weekend. The Reign are playing against the Portland Thorns just down the road in Lumen Field. But here at Cantu, it's the final USL 2 match for the West Seattle Junction FC and the Portland Bangers. And a thrilling affair that could see West Seattle tie their best ever season and could see Portland advance to their best ever season as a USL 2 club. Welcome into the broadcast booth. My name is Owen Camaros, and I'm joined alongside Oscar Lopez. Oscar, let's talk about that game just a couple of days ago between Junction and Snohomish. It was obviously a 2 versus 4 clash with Snohomish having clinched the USL 2 playoffs just a week ago. It was chaotic. It was nuts.
Yeah, well, I think I'll reiterate what I said at the end of the broadcast on Friday, which is that Mike Mata got his setup right. They started with a 5-back, and they had Kirabel Yurga, Taisei Ida, Derek Johnson, Marcus Bravo in there as players who can win the ball in midfield and immediately attack on the counter. And it worked like a dream for the first half. I mean, maybe dream might be a little nice. It worked like a dream for the first 20 minutes. They were 2-0 up. Snohomish pulled it back to 2-2, and then they finished the half with the Derek Johnson goal to make it 3-2.
But then that second half,
everything
went wrong.
Everything did go wrong. As I think you said on the broadcast, Junction fell asleep early in the second half, conceded, and then the referee gave a penalty that a bit of a controversial one, and I think Kirabel Yurga was a little bit too vocal on his feelings while already being on a yellow card. That got him sent off, and after that, it was all Snohomish.
And then on the flip side for Portland, has not been the easiest last few weeks for them. They lost to Mid-Lakes and then followed it up the next day with a defeat to Bigfoot. They didn't score a goal in those matches. They are a 0 goals for, 5 goals allowed over their last 2 games. Though versus West Seattle, this has been a one-sided affair in the 4 matches that these teams, the 3 matches prior to this one, that these 2 teams have played. Portland has won all 3 meetings, and they've won each of those meetings by at least 2 goals. So, if you're Portland, how confident are you coming into a game like this?
I think you're confident. I think if you're some of these players, you're maybe seeing this as a great way to finish off what has been, as you say, a very, very strong season for the Bangers. They'll feel invigorated by how the season has gone. They'll feel like they can use it as a springboard for years to come, maybe push for that playoff spot that they didn't quite reach this year. And a match against West Seattle Junction, who have been leaking goals over the last few games, they'll feel like they can put on a good performance and come away with all 3 points.
Yeah, West Seattle gave up 3 goals to Bigfoot, 2 versus Olympia, and then 5 versus Snohomish. Those are their last 3 matches coming into today. It was a 3-3 draw to Bigfoot, a 5-2 win versus FC Olympia, and then a 5-3 defeat against Snohomish. And now let's take a look, though, at these starting lineups. First off, for West Seattle, you have to talk, first off, for Portland. Let's take a look at it here. It's a bit of a heavily rotated squad. I think both these teams are starting to feel the stress of the college seasons upcoming. Snohomish has who came just a couple of days ago, still had most of their players, but you remember West Seattle, that was the first game that they didn't have any of their UW players, and they've lost a lot more guys. On the flip side, though, for the Bangers, it'll be an interesting lineup. Marcus Norris will start in goal. Tate Richards and Denzel Akram will be the 2 center halves. Jahan subs Hollian on the right. Loic Barra, as we remember him very well from his time with FC Olympia and now Portland. He'll be on the left. Zachary Newells, Cruz Cuevas, George, and Landon Azevedo make up the midfield. And then it's the other Cuevas George brother and Edwin, alongside Nevin Ruger and Vala Saghafi up top. That's head coach Jorge Villafana's squad. On the flip side for head coach Mike Mata, it'll be that patented 4-3-3. And it's an interesting goalkeeper situation. Obviously, you had the injury to Lucas Martin, and what that means is it's next man up mentality. So it'll be Kellen Pierce making his first ever start for the Junction, the player who's been here since the start. He makes his first ever start in goal. Jack McGuire will play his second match, having returned from retirement, with head coach Mike Mata needing some help at center back. Jack Hagley will be alongside him. Guevara Cassim, the other outside backs. Michael Guevara, let's talk about him for a moment quickly. was really solid when he came in late in that match versus Snohomish, really settled things down. What'd you like about him?
Well, Guevara, he really sees the play before it happens. He is really good at picking out where the next pass is going to be, stepping in and trying to win the ball back for West Seattle, which what we have seen from a Junction team, especially a no Alex Mejia Junction team, that is kind of what they're about. They try and pull teams in out of possession, collapse on them, win the ball, and counter.
Alongside the midfield with Enrique Guerrero, it'll be Keegan Chepko and Mateo Herrera playing as the 8 and 10, and then Derek Johnson, Marcus Bravo, Taisei Iida up top. Everything's been through Iida in the early part of this season, but Derek Johnson, 2 matches and 3 goals, had a brace versus Snohomish in the first half. A very important pickup, with West Seattle having grabbed him from Bigfoot about midway through the season.
Yeah, I think their general manager may be looking for a career change after that one.
We're going to step aside for the national anthem. When we return, it'll be kickoff here at Nino Cantu. You're watching.
The moment of silence will conclude at the volume of the centre referee's whistle. Thank you. Please remain standing if you are able for the singing of the national anthem, performed by Seattle-based singer and recording artist Daniela Marie.
Couple of late changes were made to the Portland lineup, so we'll quickly get you those. Zach Newells is actually going to drop back to center back, and Owen Bonnet will play alongside him. And Tate Richards is going to play as the 6. So that means that there will be no Denzel Akarem to start the match. Maybe he will come off the bench, the man from Tyler Junior College, who just recently finished up his campaign there. But like we talked about, everybody's missing. Obviously, for West Seattle, you're missing Osatu Nabulele. He's been kind of the star this season. Kiro Belyurga, who's been absolutely fantastic in a midfield unit that's really made or break West Seattle's season. He's obviously out with red card suspension, having picked one up off of a double yellow on Friday versus Snohomish. So some players that don't necessarily play as much for West Seattle. Obviously, Kellen Pierce making his first start and goal. How do the experienced players kind of make sure that the younger guys who are maybe playing their first USL 2 game in either a long time or ever are comfortable coming into a match like this?
Well, the nice thing about West Seattle not having anything as far as the table goes to really play for here, it can be a game that is not quite as stressful. Obviously, if you're somebody who doesn't play too often, you may be stressed no matter what. But if you're a leader on the team and Iida or someone like McGuire, you can just ask those players to have fun. Like, this is an incredible opportunity. You get to play against a good team with, for a crowd at home with the opportunity to make it your club's best ever finish. So everybody out there should just be excited that they have the opportunity to be here.
Cody Zipp, the center referee, he's holding the ball right at midfield. Some last instructions from both of these teams. West Seattle will be attacking from right to left as they usually do at home at Nino Cantu in the first part of this match. They'll be wearing those all blue kits with the white lettering. Portland in those in those dark green and pink jerseys with the white shorts and the black socks. Talk about this, a very one-sided affair. And there's a player on Portland who knows this affair better than anyone. Valas Saghafi, 4 goals in 3 matches against West Seattle. He scored twice earlier in the year when Portland beat West Seattle 3-1. In West Seattle's second game of the year, Vance Sheffield scored the other goal for the Bangers. Junction's lone goal was by Gabriel Fernandez. He's no longer with the club. He's back in Vermont, playing for the Vermont Green, who just recently clinched the Northeast Division. So a chance to rewrite history for West Seattle, a chance to continue a fantastic lopsided affair for Portland. We are underway here at Nino Cantu Southwest. The Junction comfortable to just pass it around. Hagley, McGuire. Chapko getting a touch. Beautiful Sunday afternoon. The wind tempered as opposed to the other day when it was absolutely gusting from right to left, as you see it on your camera, straight into the face of Marcus Norris. Instead, though, it's a tempered wind, a beautiful afternoon, 70 degrees at kick.
Immediately, it looks like West Seattle have set up the exact same way they did against Snohomish. They're going back to that back 5 with McGuire, Hagley, and Enrique Guerrero as the 3 center backs. Guerrero slightly out of position. He is more of a fullback by trade. That allows Kasim and Guevara to be the 2 wide men for the Junction, and it puts a lot of pressure on Keegan Chapko and Mateo Herrera to hold down the fort in midfield.
Bravo coming to give some pressure to Bonin off of the heel. Bravo fighting for it. He's going to lose out. Richards. This is his 3rd game here at Nino Cantu in his long USL2 career, having spent 2 years at Lane United before they disbanded and he moved over to Portland. Clips forward but cut out. Bravo gets it back from Bonin. Guevara brought down, no fouls, says the referee. Loic Barres, another player who has spent a lot of time here at Nino Cantu.
I hope someone made the referee aware of the drama we had on Friday and that the Junction players and coaching staff might not be too pro-referee at the moment.
Loic Barres, by the way, he scored his first time here in Nino Cantu. That was for United PDX back when they were the club controlling Portland, as that's going to be kept in bounds. They disbanded. The Bangers took their place, and what a first 2 years that they've had, absolutely capturing the hearts of a side that and a city that certainly has a lot of soccer to pick from. The Thorns playing just down the road at Lumen Field. They were down 1-0 last time I checked, as Hagley's going to just head that into the corner. Going to stay in bounds, at least, and not go over the end line. It'll just be out for a throw.
Sounders and Timbers on Thursday as well.
Barras to take the throw, the former Gonzaga man. Long throw, deep to the back post. Still up in the air. Hagley gets a shove. The referee's flag is up, so it's going to be offsides on the putback header, shall we say. McGuire. Kassim. His father sent off. The assistant coach sent off against Snohomish for something said to the referee after that penalty kick, the phantom penalty that head coach Mike Motza wanted us to explain was rigged. Certainly a very unfortunate call that West Seattle gave up, having led 3-2 early in the second half, gave up that goal to make it 3-3, then called for a suspect penalty, and Kirabel Yurga handed a red card for arguing said penalty. Edgar Leon scored it and made it 4-3 to Snohomish, and then a goal just 5 minutes afterwards sunk West Seattle's ship. What can they do in their final match here at Nino Cantu in 2026? Barras on the far side. Back to Richards. He's going to be the real shot caller of this offense. Loves to start play from that deep line 6 position. Think of an Andre Pirlo. Think of when Toni Kroos would come to get on the ball. All those years on Real Madrid. Headed down, it'll reach. Bonnet. Long from the goalkeeper. Guerrero first there.
Already this game feels slower than it did against Snohomish. The Junction players are a little less eager, I think, to step in and try and win the ball. I think part of that is the absence of Kirabel Yurga.
That's in the midfield. Forward goes Saghafi. That'll be last off of Junction. Talk about it. Both West Seattle played on Friday versus Snohomish. Portland's had a week off. Their last game was back on the 5th. A 3-0 defeat to Bigfoot. So they're the more rested team. And this is not a very rotated squad. Very similar starting 11 and nearly an identical 20 players. No Jurg, obviously, for the red card. No Rico De La Rosa. Barras thought about the long throw. Instead, he'll just launch it back to his center back in Bonin. Saghafi. He'll be playing at Stanford in 27. Newells gets through a couple. Barras will pick it up on the far side.
West Seattle will be fully comfortable with this. Obviously, they've barely seen the ball, but 6 minutes in, Portland have yet to create a real chance or even look like creating a chance.
That's the first touch for Kellen Pierce, and you can hear the crowd giving the applause to the man who's spent 3 years waiting for this moment. 41 games he sat on the bench and watched. Now he gets his moment to make his mark as that's forward. Can Bravo get on it? Nope, Bonin gets there first. And it'll be last off of Bravo's foot, so out of bounds for a throw for Portland. Cuevas George gets it to the near side. Richards slipped. Oh, good turn from Cuevas George. He's forward. Barras making a run. He's found Barras. Here's Barras into the box. His first time effort, parried aside. First save for Kellen Pierce.
And it's a good save down to his left. I think at this level, that's maybe a save you would expect keepers to make. It was a well-directed shot, but I think lacked the power necessary to really worry Pierce. Still had to make the save, though.
Still, you talk about the danger that Loic Barras offers. He's one of the highest scoring defenders in USL 2 Northwest history. Double-digit goals for him across his 3 years. Tallest player in the box for Portland is Owen Bonin, now wearing number 25. That's to the back post. And that'll be well over Kellen Pierce's goal for a goal kick.
Tough one for Portland when it's really lofted in like that. Not only do you have to adjust yourself and get the ball on goal, you have to work to generate your own power. And from that range, that would have been a very tall order.
Jack McGuire going to go long, looking towards Guevara. Can Guevara get to it in front of Barres? He can. Brings it down back to goal, and look, Barres saw that feint coming from a mile away. That's long, looking towards Nevin Ruger. First one won by Junction. Shouts for handball, and it's given as that hit off of the hand of Zach Newells.
One difference that I am seeing is Miguel Guevara is getting a lot higher up the pitch than Keegan Chapko did at the beginning of last game. He was the one who started at right back against Snohomish. Now he starts in midfield, but I think that was one thing that Mata maybe didn't like about the start against Snohomish, is that the fullbacks weren't getting up and providing the width on the attack.
Taisei standing over it. Looks like everybody's going to be on the near side. Ida is going to clip that into the middle. Player goes down, and it'll be called for a foul as Jack McGuire just gave too strong of a shove. I believe that was on Sagafi. Richards, he's looking long. He has Ruger making a run. Ruger will get to it. Evan Ruger does well to turn. Brought down. Referee points to the spot, and it's a penalty kick. Enrique Guerrero just lost his feet. And on his ensuing fall, he takes down Nevin Ruger. And man, the penalty spot's been really, really unfortunate to West Seattle this past weekend.
Yeah, Guerrero never really looked like he was in control there. The forward Ruger for Portland got the ball off the long ball, and then after a couple feints, Guerrero was very much off balance. He ends up sort of tripping Ruger as he fell, so maybe not totally intentional, but I think a clear foul and a penalty.
It's Sagafi standing over it against Kellen Pierce, making his first start in West Seattle colors. Sagafi for his 5th goal versus Junction in 4 matches. Into the back of the net. Pierce stood on his line for as long as possible, just hoping Sagafi would play it down the middle, but he beats Kellen Pierce to his left. And it's the Bangers with the opening goal.
So that's actually, that is a really, really good penalty. And Pierce did what he could with those slow run-ups, a bit of the stutter step situation. You could tell that Sagafi was waiting for Pierce to commit. Pierce didn't. He was waiting for the shot to come, then he was going to try and dive and save it. So what Sagafi did is he thought, okay, fine, I'm just going to put enough power on this so that if you wait for the shot to happen, it's going to be too late for you to get across, and that's exactly what happened.
Reset things 12 minutes into this match. It's a 1-0 start for the Bangers. And West Seattle, we talk about it. They score a lot, they give up a lot of goals. McGuire on the ball. Newell's going backwards, and he's just going to hit that off of West Seattle, and it'll be out for a goal kick. Nice little feint from Marcus Norris. A lot of experience for him. Ooh, Iida nearly got to that ball, but Tate Richards using his body to shield him off. Barra is backwards. Bonin just trotting forward with it. Now he'll go long looking towards Ruger. It's going to be a tough battle between him and Enrique Guerrero. Richards trying to slip it in. He's going to find Sagafi. Shouts for a handball. That's kept inbounds for the moment, but then just over the end line for a corner kick.
You know, I see West Seattle set up like this, and if you had to give the formation a name, you'd probably call it a 5-2-3. But I actually think they'd be better off if Iida just dropped a little bit into the midfield and it was more of a 5-2-1-2 with Iida as a bit of a 10. You could call him a false 9. So they could really get at that triangle going in midfield and not leave Chapko and Herrera completely alone.
Cruz, Cuevas, George taking the corner kick. In-swinger to the near post. Knocked away. That'll be out for a throw. Barres coming over to take it. That signature long throw. 14 minutes done. A 1-goal lead for Portland. That's straight in the middle. Decent one popped up into the air. Kellen Pierce off his line. Doesn't handle it well. Gets back on the second one. Referee just going to continue play. Kellen Pierce saying that he was fouled, but since he had two hands on the ball, a strong two paws at that. Referee comfortable to just let him restart things with a drop kick. That's long. Marcus Norris, ooh, he was off his line. Had to be careful with that. Iida, good touch from him. Beats one player. Now he'll just go backwards, kind of slow things down for West Seattle. It's him and Derek Johnson, the two real goal threats for the Junction. Johnson, 3 in 2 matches. Iida, 5 on the year. No Alex Mejia today. McGuire's pass doesn't find an answer. Bravo coming to give Norris some pressure. A lot of Norrises in the USL too. Parker Norris, Marcus Norris, pardon me. Parker, who's played for West Seattle in their first season and then plays for Bigfoot ever since. Marcus Norris, who's been all over the place, the 29-year-old. Iida able to get on that one, but he just runs into his own teammate. Here's Ruger. Down the line. Able to shield off a defender. Referee says advantage can be played. Still with Ruger into the middle. Jack McGuire into his own teammate. Kellen Pierce was alert to that and got two hands on it.
I hate to say it, but the defending on that it felt a little lazy. Ruger is able to get the ball and drive at the Junction back line, and instead of getting into your athletic stance and trying to hold up Ruger, it's kind of just a couple of swings at the ball from Guerrero and Hagley. And it allowed Ruger to get to the byline to get the ball across the face of goal.
Quarter of an hour done. Only real opportunity has been that penalty kick. Other than that, 1-2 shots that Kellen Pierce has had to make a save on. Marcus Norris hasn't been tested yet. Hagley. That long diagonal ball, exactly what he's looking for. But you could just see Carmelo Kasim on the near side. Just didn't really think about making that run. That'll be a foul. That was some really good dancing from West Seattle's Mateo Herrera, who's making his 5th start of the year. Kasim can't find a teammate. Richards. Kasim makes a key interception. Ruger picks up the loose ball. That's an errant pass. Marcus Bravo.
So I like
just go backwards. Go ahead.
I like what West Seattle are doing, pushing both their fullbacks, Kasim and Guevara, high and wide. What it does allow is balls like that to be an option.
That'll be last off of West Seattle and out for a throw.
But what maybe I would change is that with Kasim and Guevara both sitting high and wide, Johnson and Bravo are sitting high and in the middle, occupying the center backs. If one of them drops with Iida into the midfield, they can get a diamond going with Herrera, Chapko, Iida, and Bravo or Johnson, that'll allow them to play through the Portland midfield and get those attacks going, because for now it feels like West Seattle, when they have the ball, they're kind of just passing it across their back line, maybe getting the ball into the midfield a little bit, but they can't really progress, and eventually possession ends with a long ball that doesn't connect.
And it's an interesting decision to play that 5-back with 3 true center backs, because West Seattle really only have 2 healthy center backs, and Hagley didn't debut until Friday. Neither did Jack McGuire. He's obviously played with the Junction for now 3 years, but he was retired. He was working in land surveying. And then head coach Mike Mata asked him to come back. We'll get back to it in a moment as Bravo beats one-man try. Couldn't get the pass off. It comes to Ida. Kasim, under some pressure, has it taken off of him. Now the counterattack might be on the other way. Into the middle. Cuevas George. Sagafi scored the penalty kick just a little while ago. Barres, decent ball to the back post just over the head of Nevin Ruger.
That was a really good ball. Got so much curl on that. But even though that attack broke down for West Seattle a moment ago, they were able to get Marcus Bravo on the ball. They were able to maneuver the ball through midfield and get it into a spot where their forwards could try and make a play.
Richards loops it the other way. A very slow first 20 minutes. Kind of the antithesis of that first match on Friday between Snohomish and West Seattle. That's off of the heel of Jack McGuire, picked up, though. Sagafi, Kellen Pierce will make a comfortable save. No real danger on that shot.
I think on the Portland side of things, one of the reasons they aren't creating so many chances, they're struggling a little bit to get numbers forward. And I think maybe that has to do with Bravo and Derek Johnson occupying their back line. But their fullbacks have been getting up, or at least Barres has.
Good ball, Miguel Guevara, able to win a throw for his team. It's an interesting battle between him and Barres. Barres is a lot more experienced. Bravo, good turn from him. That'll be last off of a Portland player and out for a corner kick on the far side. That was Edwin Cuevas George. It'll be Taisei Ida to take the corner kick on the far side. It'll be an outswinger. Good ball to the back post. McGuire rising. Just too far into the ground. Not enough power goalwards on it. But he's scored goals like that before. Chapko, some defensive work. And some even better defensive work to get through with that ball. Comes to Herrera. Hagley. McGuire. Some good interchange between West Seattle. Back to their goalkeeper, Kellen Pierce. He's going to be no nonsense with it. Really good ball to find Kasim.
Finding their feet a little bit, West Seattle. It feels like a couple of their players are getting a little more confident on the ball. I think the next step is to be able to work through that and find the forwards in possession.
Yeah, there hasn't really been much through the middle to reach the forwards. It's been pretty much only over-the-top balls to Miguel Guevara on the far side. And the problem is they're going up against a brick wall in Loic Barres.
But now Bravo's dropped into midfield.
That's to find Johnson. Has options, looking towards Bravo. Can Bravo get to it? He can. Marcus Bravo goes down. No foul, says the referee. Barres, a clean shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. And he'll come away with the ball and just loop it forwards.
If anything, it kind of looked like Bravo dropped his shoulder into him.
Really nice touch to bring that down on the near side.
No, that was
Derek Johnson.
Lovely ball by Derek Johnson.
Johnson back to McGuire. Best chance for West Seattle so far. I think Bravo knew that was probably not going to be called. Hagley. Keegan Chapko just so comfortable with his back to goal, playing those one-touch passes. Kept in bounds just barely by Kasim. Chapko looking to the far side. Over the top ball, and I think he forgot Miguel Guevara doesn't have the height that a player like Luke Barres has. Barres going to launch that throw. Hagley can only head it backwards and got enough on it to reach Kellen Pierce. Kasim. McGuire gets it back. Couple of touches and just a hopeful ball forwards. Marcus Bravo might get on the end of it. Comfortable for the center backs in the end. Here's Owen Bonin. Doesn't like his options. He'll just go to Barres. Richards checking back into that center back spot. Ruger, the heel flick. Nobody there.
Oh, wow.
Good ball to find Guevara. What can Enrique Guevara do? Chance to stretch his legs. Gets past one. Guevara gets it forward. Derek Johnson making a run on the near side. He'll just go backwards. Hagley. McGuire. Where do the shots come from for West Seattle? That's the question so far. Taisei Ida. Talk about what a good connection Ida has had with his striking partner typically in Alex Mejia. No Mejia out here tonight. Chapko. Far side Guevara. Does well to turn past Barres. Guevara going forward, cuts in. Chapko gets it forward, but just can't find the run. He's looking for Enrique Guerrero.
Well, they have done a better job of getting the ball into the final third now over these last 5 minutes. They've started to figure out how to get it through midfield. I do think a little bit when the attackers get it in the final third, they are on somewhat of an island. But it seems like there is a natural progression of Junction's ability on the ball in this game. And the chances should start coming in the next 5-10 minutes.
Marcus Norris plays that one out. That's a really nice heel flick. Here's Chapko under some pressure, though. He can only get it back to Kasim. And Kasim will just keep that in bounds by looping it forwards. Richards plays Barres. Back to him. Nice turn from Richards. Nice. Well done from Richards. Sagafi looking for that through ball. McGuire read his eyes. West Seattle under some pressure, though. Barely kept in bounds. Well done. Can Marcus Bravo settle a bouncing ball on the turf? No, he cannot. Sagafi down the line. Flicks it over Herrera. Goes down. No foul, says the referee. Some contact from Herrera, but nothing given. That's forward. Here's a chance for West Seattle to break. It's with Iida. He's the furthest player to this near side, though. Johnson in front of him. Iida goes himself. And finally, Richards there. And it'll be last off of Iida. Nope. Referee changes his mind. McGuire smashing that forwards, but it's straight into the head of Barres. Cuevas George. Good interchange between him, and here's Nevin Ruger. Ruger with only Hagley to beat. Down the line, cutting it back in. Kellen Pierce won't have an easier ball to catch all day.
Great interchange to the midfield by Portland.
Portland, who even before this match, they've been locked into third place. So they'll be outside of playoff contention, but a good finish for them. And they've been competitive each of the last 2 years. West Seattle, a win today would see them match their best ever finish of 17 points. Kasim hits the turf. Clean tackle, says the referee. That'll be brought back for a foul. West Seattle can finish as high as 4th, as low as 6th, depending on this match and other results.
The sad news, though, is that if this result holds, this would be, points-wise, West Seattle's worst ever finish as a club with just 14, and in fact, that is also the case with a draw.
Finished with 17 points. Their first year in business, 16 their second. That 16-point was kind of improbable, though. They only had 5 points through 10 matches. Here's a chance now. Cuevas George towards the top corner, just could not find that far post. He was looking for it, opened his body up, but just always tailing just a little too far to the right.
And that's one of the risks with the 5-back, and that's something we saw a bit in the last game against Snohomish. So if you're playing a flat back 5, you've got a real wall in front of goal. And if an attacker ever, tries to make a play off the shoulder of a center back, there's another 2 right there to try and work and defend. However, there ends up being a good amount of space ahead of that back 5. So I think that's something the Junction should keep an eye on, and whether that means dropping a midfielder to cover as a 6 or saying to the center backs, look, if you guys feel like you can at some point step, do so.
Johnson gives Norris some pressure. Newells will just launch that forward, but it's won and corralled by Portland. Good sliding challenge from West Seattle. That brings that brings Ruger to the turf. Guevara. Herrera. Kasim making a run, pointing to Johnson to head to the far side. Now they're going to switch back. That midfield just absolutely controlled right now by Portland. That's the real problem for West Seattle. You don't have a player like Osato Inabalele, Kirabel Yurga, that can win the ball in the midfield, and not only that, but can break lines on the dribble. Your best chance is Chapko as that's in the middle. Here's a chance for Portland, but Jack McGuire came through on Ruger. As Ruger sends him to the turf, that's going to be brought back for a foul. I think Jack McGuire knows he's a little fortunate on that call.
Yeah, but he did well. I mean, even if you lose a throw in there, it was a threatening move for Portland. They had a ball over the top into their center forward. McGuire kept his line very well and played his angles perfectly.
Hagley, this is a rotating door, revolving door at center back for West Seattle. Remember, they only have 2 healthy center backs right now, and they're trying to play a 5-back with 3 true center backs. That's required Enrique Guerrero to play as a third center half, a position he is not accustomed to. He's played as a midfielder, as a winger, now as a center back for West Seattle this season. 21-year-old redshirt junior from Seattle University. Bouncing ball. Cuevas George has it taken off of him. Sagafi gets on it. Nice step over from him. And that's going to be brought back. That was a beautiful step over into a Maradona. Some trickery from Sagafi, and we're going to get an early change for West Seattle. Alex Mejia is going to enter the match. Enrique Guerrero is off. So you talked about it. We talked about it with Mejia. He wasn't healthy to start. He's been dealing with some foot issues. But West Seattle just didn't like what was happening in that first 50 minutes. And this is a completely opposite change. This is a center back for a striker. So you'd imagine it's now going to be a 4-back. And Mejia will be up top. That'll push Marcus Bravo to the wing.
Yeah, but that then, we'll speak in a sec.
Speaking of sec, as Mejia gave a bump to Ruger, who was offsides anyways on the initial free kick. He got free, though. That was a little worrying. I think just it's always tough when you're substituting on a corner kick, on a set piece like that, as the ball's quickly back into play.
So my question was going to be, where does that leave the starting front 3, because none of them have come off. So they've switched to a 4-2-3-1 with Taisei Iida dropping in as the 10, which he kind of was playing anyway. And now, as you say, it is a 4-back with just Hagley and Maguire as the center backs.
Makes sense. You need a player to break lines. Why not call in the little gnat, as they like to call him, Taisei Iida? Always there, always flying by. Just never stops running. That won't reach Iida. The problem's going to be Tate Richards can do such damage if he's given time and space at that center defensive mid-roll, as that'll be into the arms of Kellen Pierce.
Although I think this setup will work a little bit better for this this game. It's not as high-tempoed as the Snohomish game, so the Portland midfielders are a lot less likely to lose the ball and therefore allow West Seattle to attack on the counter, which is what they would need to do with the forwards that they had. It wasn't really working to try and build out of the back. And I imagine that if before the match they had known that Alex Mejia was 100% fit, I bet he would have started. I imagine this was Mejia coming in, saying, I'll see how I feel in warm-ups. He ended up feeling really good. And then after 20 minutes, Mike Mata realized they needed a system change.
Good turn from Cuevas George. He's for it. He's going to go goalwards himself. Kellen Pierce has made 5 saves so far. None of them terribly difficult, as that one is as well. Comfortable in the end. So here's the battle I want you guys to watch. Look at that midfield sitting right at, kind of right by the referee. That's Tate Richards. He's 25 years old now, or just coming up on 25 years old, in October. He's not the quickest player. He doesn't have the legs to cover the entire pitch. What he can do, though, is on the ball, he is just so comfortable just orchestrating the midfield. He really gets he's great at bringing a ball down, being comfortable in traffic, finding the proper pass, starting attacks, restarting attacks, recycling possession. On the flip side, Taisei Iida is going to be everywhere. He can run for 90 minutes straight, and he is going to be a tough mark for Richards to watch. This is really going to come down to who's in possession, because Richards, especially with the size advantage, is not going to be stopped by Iida. But at the same time, Iida is going to be in spots where Richards just can't mark him. Cuevas George looking for that ball in. It was kind of an awkward, deflected header on the attempted clearance from Hagley. But Kellen Pierce got it all the same. Maguire. Hagley.
I'm curious to see where Iida puts himself when Portland's in possession, especially with their back line. Does he try and use his speed to mark Richards out of the game and not allow him to get on the ball?
And look at him. He just wants touches on the ball right now. He's playing as a third center back. Bravo. Gets by two. Dancing through the middle. That'll be brought back for a foul.
What a pickup Derek Johnson was.
Landon Azevedo committing it on Derek Johnson. We talk about this. Somebody needs to tell Iida he needs to stay high right now. He's getting too withdrawn as that's towards Mejia. Can he catch up to it by the end line? He can. You can see him not fully sprinting there, but able to get to it. That cross. Blocked by the first man. Referee shouting for, the center back shouting for a foul, though it was actually Barres on it, and he will get that foul. 37 minutes so far in what's been a pretty pacified match. Only goal courtesy of the spot. Vela Saghafi scoring it. His 5th goal against Junction FC. And this is his 4th match versus the club. 17-year-old. He'll be at Stanford in 2027, already committed. Brought down by Mejia. Really nice touch from him. Bravo's free. Was Bravo on sides? Barres coming to close him down. But Bravo gets by Barres. That's into the hands of Marcus Norris. Everything well done but the finish.
And you can see how the game changes with Alex Mejia. It's back to the old standard. Get it up to Mejia. Wingers will make the runs. And especially with the personnel that West Seattle have right now, they've got 3 very fast, very direct forwards who can work around Alex Mejia.
Hagley, no nonsense. That's up for a throw. Do you like this position from Taisei Iida? In my opinion, he's not effective at this number 10 role.
Well, I think he he doesn't really want to be in that role. He doesn't want to. He either wants to be the final pass as like a winger, or he wants to get on the ball and start the attack. But as the 10, you're neither, right? And I think another thing that maybe causes him to drop out of his position and drop deep is Chapko and Mateo Herrera are struggling to dictate the tempo as the two center defensive midfielders. I think if they can sort of lock that midfield down, then the service to Mejia will actually not Mejia. Well, it will increase to Mejia, but in this case, Iida, it will increase. And he can stay in his position, but to answer your question, I think no. I think I would prefer to have him out wide. But I think right now, Mike Mata is just kind of working with what he has. As we said at the beginning of the broadcast, a lot of players for West Seattle not in the team. I think if Inabu Lele's here, it's a different story. You probably get Iida out wide and Inabu Lele in that 10 role.
Guevara in a fight with Ruger. That'll be out of bounds for a throw last off of West Seattle. Six minutes prior to halftime. Short throw from Barres. He gets it back. Doesn't really have options backwards. He'll just go back to Owen Bonin. Late change meant that he was starting instead of the projected and the starter that we all saw up until about 2 hours before kickoff. That was Denzel Akiram, who was supposed to start this match. Late scratch meant Bonin came in instead. Jack McGuire will stand over this free kick.
What is positive about Iida in that 10 role is if he can get away from Richards, has the time to receive the ball, and then turn, he can immediately put Portland's backline under so much pressure.
Good ball towards Alex Mejia. Bonin can only flick it out for a corner. Chance for West Seattle to use one of the advantages they have out here, that height advantage. Jack McGuire is quite tall, so is Alex Mejia.
Ryan Hagley's no slouch either.
Tallest player in the box, Jack McGuire. Second tallest, Alex Mejia. Mejia is on the 6-yard box. Here's the outswinger right towards Mejia. Just won't reach him. West Seattle can only pick up the second, but can't do much with it. But Johnson gets it right back. Kasim on the near side. Bit of an errant touch from him, and he gives it away. Chance to break for Portland. Really nice challenge, though. That was Keegan Chapko coming in. Needed to make sure he got that one right. That would have been not only a foul, but probably a card as well.
Chapko's a very strong player defensively. He times his tackles very well. I can see why he was asked to play fullback in the last game and now in a defensive midfield role in this one.
Bravo didn't get anything on that header. The flick from Cuevas George can't find any teammate. Mejia. Bravo loses it. Steps in, though, and he'll at least force an errant clearance. Now it's a foot race between Newells and Johnson. One by Newells. Second one in the midfield. It's going to come to Edwin Cuevas George, one of the two Cuevas George brothers. Edwin wearing number 4, Cruz wearing number 3. Richards. Talk about it. This is the spot he loves to be in. And see Iida coming to give some pressure. Sagafi, the goal scorer, on the spot kick. Gets it back. Good interchange. Kasim, he's going to come in and concede a foul, and he will be the first player into the book. Tough challenge on Landon Azevedo. And the first yellow card distributed in the 43rd minute.
And he's had a difficult start to this game, Carmelo Kasim. It feels like the pace of the game is getting by him a little bit. I think in the sort of the moments when the game becomes quick, like he receives a pass in a crowded area or somebody makes a run at him, he's just been a bit off the pace.
Decent crossing opportunity here on the near side. Here's the in-swinger. Decent ball to the middle. Richards falls down. He's going to commit the foul. It was Enrique Guerrero who took the brunt of that shove from Richards, which also sent the Portland midfielder to the turf as well. Junction going to quickly get things started. To Guerrero on this near side. Guevara on this near side. Gets it forward. Marcus Bravo. Mejia on his left foot. Mejia goalwards. Easy save in the end for Marcus Norris.
But that's really good. That's the first time it feels like West Seattle have been able to properly go back to front. Did only take 45 minutes almost, but with just a 1-0 advantage and chances at a premium, I think West Seattle will be happy with any opportunity to get a shot on goal.
Barres to take the throw. 1 minute of stoppage time upcoming in this first half. Not a lot to show for either team, as that's going to be a tough challenge from Nevin Ruger on Guevara. He's been thrown around so far in this first half. Referee Cody Zip just coming to give a discussion to Ruger. It'll be Jack McGuire to take this. Pretty far crossing opportunity if he wants it. Derek Johnson now calling off McGuire. He'll send the tall center half into the box. We're into that minute of stoppage time. Johnson doesn't beat the first man. Headed away. Guevara on it in his own half. He'll just go back to his goalkeeper, Kellen Pierce. Pierce under some pressure. Has to go reasonably quickly. Sends it to the far side. Barres brings it down. Chance for Portland. This is a real good opportunity they have to break. Barres across the middle and nobody there in the end. That was the pass that was needed. It just needed a little bit more curve on it. Goal kick.
I'll tell you, if I'm Barres, I'm actually kind of upset. He angled that ball really well. Pierce couldn't get to it. It had gone past the Junction defenders. It just needed somebody sprinting at the back post. A run that never came.
Mejia checking in. There's the referee's whistle. The first half zips on by. The only goal courtesy of the spot kick for Portland. It was Vela Sakafi who converted it, and that's how we head into the halftime break at 1-0. We'll be back right after this. You're watching Junction FC football. 45 to go in a 1-0 game with Portland winning it courtesy of a spot kick. Alex Mejia and Tate Richards on the pitch talking it over. That was the only substitution that was made. There's a new keep in the first half, shall we say. There's a new keeper substitution for the Bangers. Marcus Norris's afternoon ends after just a half. Adam Clem will come in replace of Norris, the 19-year-old from the Dominican University of California. Will be in goal for the Bangers. That's the only substitution for them, as that's quickly cleared behind Kellen Pierce's net for a goal kick. West Seattle don't have it officially right now, but just looking at the team, looks like no changes. So we will reset things with a very similar lineup to the way the first half looked. Clem replaces Norris. Obviously, he had that first half substitution with Alex Mejia coming in to play up top, but that's about it. Richards. What'd you make of that first half, Oscar?
Well, I think it took West Seattle, the Alex Mejia sub, and also some time to really start to figure out how to get the ball into dangerous positions, although on the flip side, they defended pretty well. I thought Keegan Chapko had a very good first half in midfield, worked hard defensively.
Barra is looking for the run of Cuevas George. He's onside, says the assistant referee. Chance for him to run. Taken off of him, though, by the recovery effort of Enrique Guerrero. Enrique Guevara. Ida back to McGuire. McGuire looking for the run of Alex Mejia. That's a good ball. Mejia gets to it. In the box, Mejia. And he just could not get a shot off. A really nice sliding challenge from Owen Bonin. And the match stays at 1-0.
It's a great ball by McGuire and a really good first touch by Mejia. And I think you can tell he's maybe still feeling a little bit from that foot injury.
Ooh, Guevara doesn't get a clean clearance on it. Now here's the run. But Guevara comes back to put in a really nice tackle on Edwin Cuevas George. And Miguel Guevara goes up the line with it before knocking it off of a Portland midfielder out for a throw. Mejia turns on it. He's just going to loop a ball to the far side. That's a really nice touch from Carmelo Kassim. Kassim, not a bad effort.
It was a shot. You can tell. He didn't try to put any curl on it. He's just hoping he could drive it with his laces towards that back post. I think Adam Clem had that covered either way. But it's a really great ball by Mejia and a good first touch by Kassim.
McGuire just pops it into the air to midfield. Kassim wins that header but can only just pop it into the air once again. Herrera helps it along. Back towards Herrera. He'll win that header over Cuevas George. Brought down by Bravo. Chance for him to run. Bravo looking towards Mejia. Maybe a few years ago Mejia would have got to that one, but the 26-year-old can't catch up to it.
Early chances for West Seattle. It seems like they're able to pick up the ball in midfield and go forward with it. I would still like to see a little more cohesiveness from that midfield triangle of Chapko, Herrera, and Iida.
Yellow card, says the referee on that challenge. Cruz Cuevas George thought that he should have been given a free kick from the initial challenge and then just a frustration kick from him. Second player into the book, first for Portland. Chapko. First one won by Portland, cleared away. Chapko's going to get to it, and he'll just go back to Kellen Pierce. Pierce thought about going back to Chapko. He has to go quickly under the pressure from Nevin Ruger. All the way back to Clem. Mejia coming to give Clem some pressure. You can see he still has that top line speed, Mejia, but he does not look fully comfortable out there.
The good news is, though, Mejia can still be very effective with any potential injury or just age catching up to him. Speed isn't necessarily a real necessary part of his game. He's quite good with the hold-up play as well.
That's knocked out of bounds by Tate Richards. You can see head coach Mike Matza telling a couple of players to get warmed up on that near side. You can't see it on the camera. We can see it from our vantage point. Looks like Chase Larson won. Tough to tell who the other one is. It might be Rico De La Rosa. Iida does well to bring that down in traffic. Kasim. McGuire. Back to Kasim. Good touch from him. Trying to spring Johnson. Johnson going to get to it. Richards and Johnson in a fight on the corner. And it'll be last off of Johnson and out of bounds.
Well dealt with by Tate Richards. Saw the threat that Johnson was providing and immediately sprinted across his back line to get there. Has been a bit quiet in this one, Derek Johnson. But I think to be fair to him, he hasn't really gotten the service that he's seen in the previous two games.
Came over at mid-season from Bigfoot. Played in 5 matches for Bigfoot. Hadn't scored for them as that's through the middle towards Bravo from Taisei Iida. Can't reach him, though. Johnson, though, since coming to Junction, in just 2 games coming into this one, he scored 3 goals. Goal versus FC Olympia, and a brace versus Snohomish, and that loss on Friday. Hagley will pick it up. 7 minutes into the second half. McGuire towards Mejia. He's on sides, says the assistant referee. Brought down by Mejia. Back to goal. Has it taken off of him by Bonin. Ooh, that was not the pass that was needed. There was a runner on the far side. West Seattle get it back. Guevara. Chance for him to go forward. Trying to clip it into Mejia. Mejia brings it down. Mejia goalwards. That's the danger that Alex Mejia presents. Even with his back to goal, he can turn and create space, but that one just couldn't keep that select ball down on the half volley.
Well, and Iida was a little bit upset that Mejia didn't flick the ball into him as he was running across his back, but I think in that position, if you're Mejia, there aren't too many wrong answers there. That first touch into space and then hitting it was a good idea, but as you say, just got his foot a little bit too much under the ball.
Really nice turn on the near side. Azevedo can't keep it. Though it comes right back to his teammate Sagafi. Sagafi trying to play Cuevas George in on goal, but Cuevas George had made his run a little bit early, says the assistant referee, at least on the far side.
I think Jack McGuire over the last couple days has gained a real sharpness that it didn't quite seem like he had against Snohomish. He's reading the passes and the direction of the attacker's runs a lot better in this one than he did in the previous match.
Clem sends that to the Junction back line. Richards wins the header. Good split pass to find Vala Sagafi, the goal scorer. Cruz Cuevas George over to his brother. Into Ruger. Couldn't find anybody with that lay off, and instead it'll be cleared on the near side for a Junction throw. Barres' long throw all the way to Kellen Pierce. You can see Nevin Ruger just a little slow after that. I think maybe got stepped on or something. He's back running. Coming to pressure McGuire, who goes to Kasim. Kasim up the line. Johnson. Too much contact in the back from Jahan Subhalian. Still no clear-cut chances for West Seattle. That's kind of the issue. And to be fair to them, they didn't have that many versus Snohomish. They just took them so well, as that's over the top looking towards Taisei Ida and Alex Mejia. Ida's going to pick up the second ball, but a really nice control from Zach Newells to keep his body, keep the ball close to his feet as he was able to get up there. Good step from Hagley to win the ball. Johnson laying it off to Chapko. Chapko just stops on it, trying to go backwards, but it's taken off of him by Saghafi. A real midfield battle. Richards goes down under the pressure from Iida. Good long ball to find Cuevas George. Gets a turn on Guerrero. Cuevas George into the middle. Here's a chance. The second one it is. It's one brother to the other. Edwin Cuevas George finds his brother Cruz. And Cruz finds the far corner for the second of the afternoon for Portland. And could that be the nail in the coffin on their Sunday evening treat? It's 2-0.
Long ball. Diagonal long ball misread by Guevara, lets it go over his head and then gets beat inside the 18-yard box. Guevara does end up getting a tackle on it, but it bounces right to the Portland attacker, who certainly won't be the hardest finish of his life from that range.
Cruz Cuevas George, 18 years old. He'll be at Southern Oregon University come the fall. And that's a goal that'll get you the starting spot on most college teams. Just took it exceptionally well. And West Seattle, who just have not looked up to the task today, are now going to have to come back from 2 goals down. Brought back for a foul. Jahan Subhalian asking for a card from the center referee.
It's been a really professional performance from Portland over this first hour. They haven't felt rushed. They've never seemed panicked. Not a lot of chances created by them in the first half, but they got the penalty. And what they certainly did do very well was mitigate West Seattle's options going forward.
Mitigate indeed. Played into the middle by Acevedo. Good ball to the back post. But just kind of a half-hearted effort on that far side from Owen Bonin, who now has to run all the way back to the center back role. That's just given away. Marcus Bravo, I think, saw the wrong color, as that's an attempted chip on Kellen Pierce, who was well off of his line. Cruz Cuevas George, who just scored a moment ago, went for the spectacular. All right, so 2 changes for West Seattle. Jack McGuire still not 90 minutes fit yet. He'll be off after 59 minutes. Chase Larson will replace him. Enrico De La Rosa will come into the match in replace of Enrique Guerrero. That's 2 defensive substitutions, though, so still no real fix to the problem West Seattle's had, which is they haven't had anything in the attack. Larson's going to come to play left back. That'll send Carmelo Casim to the center half to play alongside Hagley.
Rico De La Rosa at right back. We'll see how he does away from his natural position.
I actually think they changed up the substitution at the last minute. I don't believe that's De La Rosa over there.
Oh, that's Aravalo.
Yeah, that's Aravalo. Yeah. We were told De La Rosa was coming in, and they changed it at the last minute, probably after that second goal. So instead it's Aravalo. A little bit more natural position for him. Ida has it taken off of him by Richards. We talked about that midfield battle in the first half, and currently it's Richards winning it.
That's another thing that Portland has done very well in this game. They've completely shut down Taisei Ida. And when you take probably a team's most dynamic attacker of the season out of the game, they will find themselves struggling to create opportunities.
Larson wins that header, did well under the pressure. Back to Richards. Barres. Newell's on the near side. On the far side, pardon me. Towards the back post. Ooh, nearly reached Ruger. It'll be flicked off of the head of Jack Hagley, who just didn't comfortably deal with that. I think Ruger expected him to handle that cross better. Either way, it's out for a corner kick. Corner kick upcoming. Outswinger from the near side. Headed away by Hagley, but not terribly far away. Hagley wins the second as well. Herrera just going to launch that forward and towards the near touchline. Ida keeps it in bounds. Here's a chance for West Seattle to break. Chapko down the line. Has Ida in the box. Towards Ida. All the way to the back post. Mejia arriving. Everybody in West Seattle held their breath at that one, but Mejia just didn't catch it cleanly.
Just sliced it with his left foot, but I'm gonna give Chapko the benefit of the doubt and say that he saw that late run from Mejia, and if that is the case, it was a perfectly placed cross for Mejia to run on and hit.
Past the 60-minute mark, 2 goals for Portland. West Seattle trying to win this game to equal their best season of all time. Hagley back. Instead, it'll be cleared away, but it's off of the back of a Portland player. That was one of the Cuevas George brothers. Actually, pardon me, I believe that was Vela Sagafi, who just was the recipient of a Kellen Pierce cross, and it fell right back to Kellen Pierce for the catch. Hagley able to keep that in bounds at the near touchline. Mejia comes back to play some hold-up play. That'll be brought for a foul. Just a tough match for Marcus Bravo today.
Yep, hasn't really, like Iida and Johnson, hasn't really been able to get anything going. Portland have looked defensively incredible this afternoon.
I wonder if at any point you want to switch Marcus Bravo and Taisei Iida. Let Iida play alongside Alex Mejia, where he's more comfortable.
I think so. He hasn't been able to get on the ball in this number 10 position.
Bonin clears it away.
It's a good ball.
It's a really good ball to find Cruz Medina George. Ruger just giving some a body to the West Seattle center back, but instead it's going to be West Seattle on the break. Here's Derek Johnson down the line. On the far side, Johnson keeping his run. Richards coming to give him some pressure. Johnson just knocks Richards over, and that'll be last off of a Portland player for a corner kick.
Again, Richards coming across the defensive line to clean up the mess. Johnson was making a nice driving run down the left, but Richards just cut him off.
2024 Lane United Defensive Player of the Year. Wonder if anybody's going to tell Taisei Iida that ball is nowhere near the corner mark. We can see it's about a yard away. Nope, instead he'll just take the corner from that spot. Into the middle, headed away. Chapko gets to the second one. Good touch down the line for him. Can he keep his body in bounds? Will be out of bounds. Last off of Cuevas George, Edwin Cuevas George that was, who was doing some defensive work from that left wing role. Who's a player West Seattle can bring off the bench to create some fireworks? Remember, they only have one more substitution window to use. As that's into the middle. Ooh, a decent effort. That'll go into the goal. Alex Mejia thought he had a good goal, but he kicked through the center back and the goalkeeper, Adam Clem. Clem a little shaky to get up there.
I think maybe you could bring in a Lunden Fenster, stick him at the 10, switch Yeet out wide, see if that gives Junction a little more control in midfield.
Clem still getting looked over by the center referee, more so arguing that it should have been given as a free kick and maybe a little bit after the fact to Alex Mejia. Mejia talking to Tate Richards. Now the center referee coming to give a word to Alex Mejia and a yellow card as well. Cody Zipp will brandish the caution. Second one to West Seattle after Carmelo Kasim got one in the 42nd minute. Adam Clem in no rush to take this. 68th minute. Over Aravalo's head. Hagley just trying to help that all the way back to his goalkeeper. Instead, he has to give it away. Chapko. 3 players around him. Out of bounds before Aravalo was fouled. Adam Clem is going to be talked to by the center referee. I think maybe he's bleeding. I think he's still frustrated that Alex Mejia wasn't given anything worse than a yellow.
Looks like Lunden Fenster might be coming on in a moment. At least has his top on and his bib off.
So after a quick impromptu water break, the throw-in on the near side for Portland. This will be it for the Junction in terms of substitution windows. Hagley can only head it to the top of the box. Good challenge, and here's West Seattle away. It's with Chapko, ball up the line. Marcus Bravo trying to go down the line on Barras, cuts back. Oh, and that's a really tough challenge. Tate Richards just smoked Marcus Bravo. Yellow card, says the referee. That's one of those you wonder if it could be anything worse than a yellow. That was really tough, and the Junction assistant coaching staff talking to Cody Zipp about that challenge.
It was a rough one. I mean, Richards came across, wound up, and just took a shot for the fences towards Marcus Bravo. I think the saving grace is that he probably was going for the ball. It just was a very clumsy way of doing so, and ended up, as you say, smoking Marcus Bravo in the process. But I would say that a yellow card is the correct call there.
2 yellow cards for either side. Kasim and Mejia for West Seattle. Cruz, Cuevas, George, and Tate Richards for Portland. Taisei Ida, the ensuing free kick. Good ball into the middle. Headed away by Ruger. Only to Aravalo. Good ball from him. Ida down the line. Has some space to run. Cuts back on Cuevas George. Has runners alongside him. He'll go into Bravo in the middle. Bravo! Did it take a deflection? No, he just didn't catch it well. Now I'm seeing 3 players on the side. It's Rico De La Rosa, London Fenster, and Will Mashmet, all preparing to come on. A couple of players for Portland warming up. Remember, they're short-handed today. They only had 6 players on the bench. One of those was a keeper, and they had to make that keeper sub, taking off Marcus Noritz.
Now, we'll see how this changes things up. I mean, 3 attacking-minded players here. I think maybe the only one that you could say could come into that number 6 role maybe is Fenster. Could play there.
Kasim up the line.
Although I will say, even though they haven't had exceptional games, I don't really see how you bring off Iida or Johnson when you need goals.
Good ball in to find Taisei Ida. Gets it out wide. Aravalo. Has Bravo in front of him. Bravo trying to go down the line on Loic Barres, and Barres pockets him once again. That's been a pretty one-sided battle so far today. Pierce off his line towards Kasim. Can Kasim keep it in bounds? Yes, he can, but it's maybe not to the benefit of West Seattle. Here's Ruger with it. Dancing through 3 players. But he just had it caught under his feet, and Chase Larson takes it away. Larson just looking for a pass. He'll just roll it into the midfield to find his teammate.
Really well done by Larson there. Able to win and then maintain possession in difficult circumstances.
Derek Johnson. Johnson getting it forward to Mejia. He's offsides.
Good finish. But
second, and the crowd goes wild, and the referee stops it.
It was offside. Maybe had half of his body in an offside position, but great play by Johnson, and that's what I say. I really hope he's not coming off here. He is.
Johnson replaced, so is Marcus Bravo. Mateo Herrera, the 3rd player off. It'll be Will Mashmet, Rico De La Rosa, London Fenster. So in all likelihood, Taisei Ida won't be playing as the 10 for much longer.
I don't think you needed to take off Derek Johnson. But they're keeping him at the 10 anyway.
Ida will stay at the 10. London Fenster will join him. Rico De La Rosa and Will Mashmet will play as the wingers. Remember, this is you want to talk about a good head coaching job. What Mike Mata has done with all the chaos surrounding this team in terms of players. You lose a couple of stars. Igor Akolov was supposed to play for West Seattle. He never played in the end. Gabe Fernandez left it halfway through the season as Mashmet crossing it in towards the back post. Here's a chance for De La Rosa. And it's stabbed away by the center back. That's a key block.
What a block.
Still with West Seattle. That was Jahan Subshalian. Hasn't really had much to do as that cross is going to go straight into the hands of Adam Clem. We haven't called his name at all today, but when it mattered most, Subshalian comes through with a goal-saving block, and it stays at 2-0. Back to my point, though, with all the chaos that head coach Mike Mata has had to deal with, it's a really good coaching performance by him throughout this season. Larson. Ida. Chapko couldn't control that ball. Aravalo brings it down, but he's just forced backwards. Kellen Pierce is going to play that through the middle. Not the greatest clearance, but Fenster will pick it up.
Does seem like the subs have provided a new energy.
This is what West Seattle needed. Mashmet, opportunity to cross if he can go quickly. Instead, down the line to Fenster. Can he get a ball into the box? Sails over everyone's head. Larson will keep it in at the back post.
Good touch.
De La Rosa will pick it up. Well done recycling possession for West Seattle. Decent ball towards Mejia. To the back post, Fenster.
Great opportunity.
The opportunities keep coming. 15 minutes to go, but it stays 2-0.
It's a good ball. I mean, I think he was looking actually for Mejia. Just ends up over his head. A good late run by Lyndon Fenster, who's looked very good since coming on.
Ruger, he loses out. Larson backwards. Kasim. Towards Aravalo. Does he have the legs to get there in front of Barres? He does. Forced backwards by Barres. Fenster. Settles that down. Goes down the line. Opportunity to cross from him. It's low into the middle. Mejia turns. Still an opportunity with the ball in the box. Now it's cleared away. Ooh, chance maybe for Portland to break, but a good challenge from Hagley. Hagley, though, doing too much. Nearly lost it. Couple of tough challenges. West Seattle come away with the ball. Ida coming to give Fenster some help. Back to Fenster. Towards Mejia. Adam Clem off his line.
Well, they're creating good chances, West Seattle, but with 15-plus stoppage left, they're going to need to put the ball in the back of the net soon, being 2 goals down if they're hoping to get at least a draw out of this.
That's long, decent ball, and it's a foot race between Chapko and Ruger. Ruger just knocks Chapko away from the ball. He's further down the line. Into the middle, Kellen Pierce got 2 strong paws on it to hold on to that ball.
Again, excellent defending by Chapko. Stayed with Ruger the whole way, and in the end, his body was enough to put Ruger off and force what ended up being a very tame cross.
Ida. Mashmet comes backwards to get on the ball, trying to go down the line. Richards and Mashmet, who know each other quite well, and Richards is going to win that battle. Now here's the problem. Space starting to open up. It's Saghafi. Has runners around him. Saghafi onto his left foot. Blocked by Hagley. Saghafi just trying to shield it out for a throw, but it'll be last off of the goal scorer. Now here's the change for Portland. Looks like Loic Barres is just coming to get some water. I'm trying to see who this change is. It'll be a midfield substitution in the end. Landon Azevedo hasn't really been that much involved in this match. He'll be replaced. And it'll be Papa Diallo who comes in for him. Mejia brings that down. Has Mashmet running alongside him. Cuts in. He has some space to work, Alex Mejia. Tries the shot. It's blocked out for a corner kick. De La Rosa will take the corner. Scored just a week ago versus Olympia. Mejia, the target man, just outside the 6-yard box. Referee just making sure Mashmet plays nice in the middle with Jahan Subsalian. De La Rosa, good in-swinger, but Adam Clem right there. '79th minute. Junction, the better of the two teams right now, but they're down by 2 goals as Richards just lost his footing. Fenster. Chapko. Larson up the line. Good challenge from Subsalian. Quickly back in by Chapko. Fenster, Ida.
Got to get it in the box.
Larson back to Iida. Here's a chance for him to break. Just too far of a touch. And it's cleared away. Zach Newell's the defensive work there. Ooh. Kasim had to be a little careful there. Fresh legs from Papa Diallo nearly closed him down. Long from De La Rosa. Clem will catch it in front of the center back for West Seattle, Jack Hagley, who's quite high up the pitch. Over Aravalo's head, Chapko will get to it. Think he's just going to let that out of bounds. Kasim comes to collect short. We're into 80 minutes. De La Rosa wanted that defeat. See the frustration. He's just barking at Chase Larson. Diallo can't catch up to that ball.
They're pinning Portland in really well right now.
Mejia, he's free in the middle. Trying to cross. Won't get back to it. Barres clears it away. That's going to stay in bounds. Here's a foot race. It's going to be Ruger who gets to it first. Has runners alongside him. It's a 2v3 for Portland if they can execute it well. Ruger backwards to Saghafi, goalward. Still the rebound, and that's going to be straight into the hands of Kellen Pierce. Pierce setting Larson up.
Saghafi has to hit that first time. You don't have time for a touch there.
Well done from De La Rosa to use his body to win that free kick. Man, Saghafi really should have had his second there. That would have been the true nail in the coffin. West Seattle living dangerously right now with the numbers that they've committed forward. Iida going himself. Now he'll drop it off to Larson. Iida backwards. Mejia, couldn't find Mashman on that. Diallo. Look at Diallo running, but Hagley wins the header instead. De La Rosa, the bump on Saghafi. No, instead, I believe it's going to be a handball, possibly. Saghafi controlled it with his arm. Junction quickly back in. It's Will Mashman on the near side. Mashmet's crossed into the middle. That left something to be desired. Chapko couldn't bring the touchdown cleanly and left his boot a little high on Tate Richards, and the referee signaling for a free kick. That first goal, like you mentioned, needs to come quickly.
Yeah, and I think tactically there's not a whole lot you would change here for West Seattle. I think they just need a little bit of that quality on the final pass or the finish that just hasn't been there for all 83 minutes.
Throw in for West Seattle. Fenster to De La Rosa. Has some time if he wants to turn, and he will. Iida. Problem is West Seattle's just being forced backwards so much. Hagley dancing through defenders. That's towards Mashmet. Can he get to it? No, he cannot. Clem goes down. Gets on the second one. Mashmet down behind the play. Wow. Kasim. Diallo wins the header. Mashmet's back up to his feet. Nervy moment for Portland. Clem didn't handle that cleanly. And the second one just clattered off of his body. I don't really know how much of it he saw. Towards Mejia. Really good touch down the line for Mejia.
What a tackle.
And that'll be out for a corner kick.
I mean, these Portland center backs have been absolutely incredible. I don't think I've seen a defensive error from either of them.
That was Bonin. Short for West Seattle on the corner. De La Rosa picks it back up into the back of Diallo. Out of bounds. Fenster under the pressure from Diallo. He just does not quit. Papa Diallo. Ida. Good turn from him. Ida has some space. Dances down the line off the post.
Oh, man.
Nearly beating Adam Clem to his near post. That would have been huge for the Junction.
And Ida hasn't quite looked at his best this afternoon, but that's what he can bring you at any point. Able to drive through the Portland midfield that had packed into the 18-yard box and get a shot on target. Just needed to be a couple more inches to the left.
A true game-breaking player. He's just has not come off for him. Did everything right there. The shot was good. The turn, the quick change of pace, the touches were great. And just did not get the bounce he needed off that near post. Chapko brings it down. Good turn from him. Fenster. Back to Chapko. Up the line to Mashmet. He's on sides. What can Will Mashmet do? Defended by Subshalian. Tries to take him down the line for pace. Does well. Into the middle.
Oh, my.
Referee shouts for a goal. Isn't given. Aravalo brings it down. Goal line clearance. Didn't see who actually got the final touch.
I mean, you don't get any closer to scoring than West Seattle have in the last 5 minutes.
Towards Mashmet. Won't reach him.
Portland.
Get you that replay in a moment.
Portland defending this clean sheet with their lives.
Fenster. I actually saw the Mashmet cross. Couldn't see who got the final touch for West Seattle, nor who made the clearances. That's towards Keegan Chapko. Let's look at a replay here.
Played across. It's Mejia, I think, and then just, wow, incredible. I can't quite make out who that was for Portland. But, I mean, you don't really see better off-the-line clearances than that.
No goal line technology in the USL2. West Seattle thought that had traveled over the line, but it remains a 2-0 ball game into the 88th minute. Over the head of Aravalo. Nevin Ruger under the pressure from Jack Hagley. Final change-up coming for Portland. As Loic Barres slowly trots to get the ball, it'll be Nevin Ruger off. Trying to see who came on. We'll get you that player in a moment. Larson wins that. Takes it up the line. He has Mashmet in front of him. Popped up into the air. It'll come to Newells. Brings it down. Finds Diallo. Papa Diallo on the turn. Can't find a pass.
Nice.
Aravalo a good turn. De La Rosa. Mejia making a run on the far side. Out of bounds, De La Rosa will come to take the throw in quickly. Up to Iida. What can Iida do on Barres? He has Fenster making a run. Fenster! The pass across the face of goal was on. Mejia was in space. Fenster instead went himself. Chipped the keeper. Couldn't find the top corner.
I mean, it really is everything but the goal at this point for West Seattle. I think 88.5 minutes left. They will have dispelled all thoughts about winning the game, but they certainly will feel like with this second half performance, they deserve a goal.
It's not in mod 11. You have to learn to score. Diallo. Just settling this match down. How much stoppage time? That's going to be the real test. West Seattle need a goal, and they need it now. They've had the chances. Ball cascades to Diallo. That pass will reach Kellen Pearson. Nobody in green for Portland. Pierce is just going to pick it up and smash it long. Iida brings it down. Can he get to it before the touchline? Yes, he can. Fenster in the middle making a run. Instead, Iida will just go backwards. The questions have to be asked. Could Mejia have gone a full 90? If he could, what would have changed? As that's over the top towards De La Rosa. It'll come to Adam Clem. I believe it was Cooper Gilbo that came on for Portland, wearing a different number than it has on our list, so we apologize. The list provided to us by Portland does not have a number 10, which is why we've been scrambling to figure out who came onto the match. Brought back for West Seattle foul. Into stoppage time. How much time has the fourth official signaled? No official signal yet. Pierce high looping ball towards Mashmet, won by Cuevas George. Mashmet with his back to goal, cuts in. That pass. Chapko dancing through a couple of players, but he's lost it. 3 minutes of stoppage time. We've already played the first. Comes down to this moment here. Can West Seattle find 2 goals in the next 2 minutes? Mejia. He's lost it. Newells just sends it over the touchline for a throw. Chapko quickly into Fenster. Everybody in the box for West Seattle. They've set their center back forward in Jack Hagley just to be another target man in there with some height. Aravalo dancing through a couple of players. Chapko needs to get a pass into the box. Thought about the cross. Cuts onto his left foot. Larson backwards. Cuts back. Oh, and that pass just could not find his teammate. It was Chapko, and maybe just a situation of 2 players that really haven't spent much time on the pitch together this season. 'About a minute and 20 seconds left. Fenster keeps it inbounds. Can't do anything with it up the line, though. That's just cleared out for another throw. Portland has suffocated this match exceptionally well. They're going to win their 4th in a row against West Seattle.
They should be very proud of how they played. I think I said it before, very professional performance from the Bangers.
Kellen Pierce thought about staying on his line for a moment there and then came off of his line, though. It comes to the near side. Sagafi, who scored that first goal from the penalty spot down the line, shields the challenge well. He's just going to hold it in the corner. And that's going to be given as another penalty kick. No, it's going to be given as right outside the box. Initially, the referee pointing to the spot thought better of it. And in all likelihood, that's going to be all she wrote for West Seattle. Portland obviously in no rush to take this penalty kick. And you can see the hands on the heads and the sides of West Seattle. Iida, his arms by his side. Jack McGuire on the sidelines expressing some frustration at that call. Alex Mejia frustrated on his own with that call. He's standing at the center of the pitch. What's Portland going to do on this free kick? They're just going to take it short and try to hold the ball in the corner. How much more time does the referee give this match? Out for a goal kick. West Seattle bringing as many numbers forward as possible. Larson just mishit the attempted cross. Referee looks at his watch. And that will be all she wrote for the Junction and the 2026 USL2 season. It started with fury, it ended with whimper. It's a 2-0 defeat to Portland that they felt they deserved more in. But the Bangers beat the Junction once again here at Nino Cantu. And a 2-0 decision.
I mean, it was not I would say a performance that was not quite at the level of what we've seen from West Seattle over the last few games, at least as far as attacking dynamism. And I think, honestly, it's the same players out there for the Junction who have been playing so well recently. Your Derek Johnsons, your Taisei Iidas. It's more of a credit to Portland and how well they set up and how defensively suffocating they were. I think when Alex Mejia came on, that changed the game a little bit, but you could tell he was just off it by a bit of a step, that injury still nagging him. He couldn't quite maximize the effectiveness that we know he does have in his locker. And in the end, a 2-0 result, I think, based on how that game went, is a perfectly fair scoreline.
Well, for the final time this season, I say thank you very much for tuning in from wherever you are. For Owen Cameras, for Oscar Lopez, for Olivia Dubois, for George Pierce, for everybody who made this broadcast possible, we say thank you very much for tuning in.